Yeah, I'm going to take the Mavericks again, plus 5.5 here. I think the world's making a big deal about Anthony Edwards, and he deserves a lot of praise for his play. However, he's still an inconsistent scorer, and for Minnesota to win, he needs to be the guy taking the majority of the shots. Even when he isn't scoring, we still feel his presence out there, but this isn't enough. He needs to be that primary scorer. It's really surprising to see, but he hasn't reached 20 points in 3 of his past 4 games, and in those 3 misses at 20 points, he has played at least 40 minutes in those games. The Mavericks may not have the better team overall, but they definitely have the 2 biggest stars on the floor in Luka and Kyrie. That combination is very deadly. We saw that in Game 1. Luka had 33, Kyrie had 30, and I expect them to keep playing at a very high level. And even the bench players and the role players stepped up for the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, the other starting 3 on the floor, P.J. Washington, Derrick Jones Jr., and Daniel Gafford, were all really good. They did a great job contributing 20 rebounds. Weren't great scorers in that game. They don't have to be, though, when you're on the floor with Kyrie and Luka. There is another gear for the Timberwolves. They did just shoot 42% from the field and 61% from the free throw line. That ultimately cost them the game. But Dallas was also just 24% from the three-point line. They have another gear to get to as well. So as long as Luka and Kyrie continue to step up and they're not making stupid mistakes as we saw in previous series, I think they'll be just fine here and cover the spread in Game 2. Yep, so I'm going to lean over on Jaden McDaniels' point total at 18.5. As I was saying, Anthony Edwards very up and down, and he was not the guy on the floor taking the majority of the shots in Game 1 of this series. Jaden McDaniels was that primary scorer. He averages 10.5 points during the regular season, but when teams are keying on Anthony Edwards, he's going to get those open looks, especially from the three-point line, and that is where he can go over this total. He's got 21, 23, and 24 points in his past 3 games, and he's been extremely difficult to defend. Very efficient from the field as well, shooting 68% in those 3 games, and coming off a night in Game 1 where he was 6 of 9 from the three-point line. He's kept the team in games. He's really been a huge factor for this team, and I think he's going to have to continue to shine, especially if Edwards not necessarily sits back, because we still feel his presence always on the floor. But if the Dallas Mavericks do a good job defending him, they're willing to give McDaniels open looks at the three-point line, and if he knocks him down, he goes over this total.